Hey, I'm Carl Olson of the Artful Painter. This is a live stream test. I'm using new software. I'm using a new setup here. I'm using my podcasting setup for the audio. Just wanted to see how this would work. I've never done it before. The other thing is a lot of people are doing these 2018 recaps. What did they do in the year 2018? And I thought, well, maybe I'll do the same thing. When I look back on 2018, I realized, man, a lot of stuff happened. The very first thing that happened was, let's see if I can get this slide up here. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, all these crazy little paintings here. I did 31 paintings in 31 days in January. So it was part of the 31-day Strada Easel challenge. Never done it before. Thought I'd give it a try. It was a nightmare. It was a lesson in endurance. And that was a very educational experience for me. What happened, I had my father was in the hospital at that time. Then my wife and I came down with the flu. And it really made this very difficult. You may be wondering, am I going to do this in 2019? Absolutely not. I'm not going to do it. It was too hard. So there, I'm not doing that anymore. Then later that year, let's see, in March, I went to the Booth Museum for the Plein Air Painters of America workshop. And you can see some of the instructors here. Ralph Oberg was one of my instructors. Matt Smith was one of my instructors. The others, I didn't take their classes, but I did listen to their lectures, like Jill Carver, Skip Whitcomb, Dan Young, and Lynn Schmiel. I wished I could. It would have been a lot of fun. All of them are just super talented painters, and there was just so much to learn from them. But it was a great week. So that was that as part of my journey of becoming a better painter is seeking out the best education possible. So that's what I did here. I went to that. That was in March, I guess it was. So, see what else happened. I know what I did. This was the very first time I had ever set up an art fair booth, an outdoor show. So that took place, and that was when I first started to sell my paintings. And I mean, I've sold them before, but this was the first time I sold them in mass. So this is a picture of my plein air booth, my art fair booth. I think that's it's an easy canopy, and it's a quality canopy. It's a 10 by 10 vertical walls, and it's fairly easy to set up. It takes two people to do it. You can't do it by yourself. Well, I guess you could if you really tried, but anyway, this was very, very nice. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I can't pronounce the name. Cool Jing Money. Thank you for the feedback. I'm glad to hear that the audio is working well. So this is brand new to me. So I just want everybody to kind of bear with me on this. Also, with the art booth, it was a lot of fun to have family and friends. My granddaughter, she helped me with the marketing there, so that was pretty cool. But I enjoyed doing this. I went in without any expectations, and it came out a whole lot better than I thought it would. I actually sold a number of paintings. I got to meet people, which was my main reason for being there. I wanted to get feedback from people, how they would react to my art. Now, the art that I had in the booth was an eclectic collection. You know, this is what happens when you're learning how to paint. You try everything, abstracts, different styles of landscapes, and just different techniques. So I had this huge inventory of stuff that I'd accumulated over the last couple of years. And so it was really nice to be able to let go of a lot of it. I needed to make room for new stuff. So this was a good opportunity to do that. And it was great meeting the public there. Now, right after that, I was invited to display 3 large paintings under the theme Arts in the Garden at the Douglas County Museum of History and Art. This was a great opportunity. So I made some large frames, large floater frames, and it was a great experience. The only thing is, You know, I didn't win anything. I didn't win any award. It seemed like everybody won an award except me. So but that's okay. That's all right. You know, something really fantastic happened at this exhibit. One of the staff, his name is David Jordan. He helped me set up. And then after it was over with, wow, Richard from Australia. Fantastic. It's good to hear from you. Thank you. Yeah, I think 2018 ends. What time is it here? It's 5 o'clock in about 7 hours. Not much left of 2018. But anyway, so thanks for joining me here. It's amazing what you can do on YouTube or other social media platforms. You get to talk to people from all over the world, and I just think that's so cool. So I appreciate you joining in there, Richard. Just back to this exhibit I did at the Douglas County Art Museum. It's a very small thing. It's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but it was nice that they support the community. But there was one of their staff members. His name is David Jordan. He helped me set up the paintings, and then when the exhibit was over, sometime in June, he helped me take these to my car, and he told me, he says, you know, your paintings were my favorite paintings. And that really meant a lot to me. Now, I felt like at the time, he probably said that to everybody because he's such a nice guy. But it meant a lot to me that he said that. Well, sadly, about 3 weeks after I put these paintings, took the paintings off the wall and put them in my car, with David's help, I found out that he died. He died suddenly about 3 weeks later. And I was just devastated. He was such a nice guy. But I did hear from his wife. His wife said that, you know, he really meant that these were his favorite paintings in that exhibit. So let's see, I think I got a photo of him. Let me get that. That's him. That's David right there. He was such an incredibly nice guy. So I hate that he passed, but I'll never forget him telling me that these were. That just means that this exhibit was priceless to me. Okay, I don't know how else to say it. Let's see what else happened in. Let's see, that was in May. Now the art fair that I told you about also took place in May. That led to another event. See, that's the thing. When you get out there and show your work, you know, things start to happen when you start meeting the public. So I got an invitation through a friend of mine. A friend of mine is a photographer. His name is Mike Clark. He does fantastic work. And he had done photography for one of the local restaurants in Douglasville. And so he introduced me to the owners of that restaurant. And what the restaurant is called Vine Cafe and Market. Really nice, farm to table type style restaurant. But they love the arts. And so once a month they feature an artist. And so you get to hang about 10, 12 pieces on the walls there. And they will sell the arts. They get a little bit of a commission, which is well worth it. So I put several small pieces in the Vine Cafe. Let's see if I can show you a picture of that. Yeah, it's just a very small place. So I just had some of my small pieces in there. And, I sold 2 pieces. It's not a lot, but it was great. And the feedback I got from the people who bought the paintings was just, it was really encouraging. So this was a nice event. And then at the end of the month, I had the opportunity to do what they called an art talk, and that was fun too. So that was a great experience. That was in September, I believe it was, and a few more of my pieces hanging around in there. So even when you're just learning how to paint, it's amazing that you can, people will want your stuff. I mean, I'm not gallery, high-end gallery ready. I'm just not there yet, but I'm working toward that eventually as I learn how to paint. So I think it's important. Not everybody agrees with this. They say you shouldn't show anything until you're at your best, but how do you know when that is, right? And besides, I got to clear out inventory so I can make room for more stuff. So there. Show your stuff. That's the lesson. Also this summer, I decided to start a new podcast, but it took me a while. I started recording some interviews, and I think the podcast actually released in October. of 2018. But it's been well received. It's called The Artful Painter. I've had Ralph Oberg, Matt Smith, Jill Carver, Gabor Savrik, Andrew Tischler. I'm missing somebody, Scott Gallatley, and Dan Young. And I have several more episodes that I'll start releasing probably toward the end of January. So this is going to go full bore in 2019, but this got started in 2018. So I was really happy to do that. And then also started slowly ramping up my YouTube channel. Still got a long ways to go. This live stream's a part of it. I hope to do more of these so I can interact with my audience. Anyway, I just thought it would be a good thing to do. I'm going to try to ramp up the YouTube production in 2019. So I've taken baby steps. So and let's see where I'm at. The last time I checked, I'm at 733 subscribers. So I'm proud of those 733 subscribers. I think they're great. That's I know there's a lot of people out there that's got 1,000, 10,000, 200,000, 300,000 subscribers, but I'm happy to have my 733 subscribers. We're going to go on a journey to learn how to paint and improve our craft together. So that's a lot of fun. I also spent time with my grandchildren. I think this is one of the rewarding aspects of art. Everybody likes to do it. Children especially, they're so open and experimental, and every time my grandkids come over to my house, they want to go into my studio and paint. So I'm not going to miss up an opportunity of that. Another thing that happened in 2018 is my wife and I celebrated our 39th anniversary. Here are 3 of my children. Now, my daughter is on the iPhone because at the time she couldn't be there. And so they had a special little party for us at a winery, which was a lot of fun. My oldest son, Kevin, my youngest son, Eric, and then my daughter, Carissa, is on the phone there, along with my lovely wife. So that was quite an accomplishment. 39 years of happy marriage. So that's great. Then in November, I took a trip to Colorado. I met up again with artist Ralph Oberg, who I'd met at the Papa event at the Booth Museum. This right here is the Cimarron Ridge. Ralph and I went out one evening, and we were able to capture some photographs here. I did a lot of, I don't want to say a lot. I did some plein air painting, and that was a lot. I enjoyed that. It was difficult. I need to get better at it, but I really enjoyed the process. And of course, my daughter and her husband live in Montrose, so that was a great place to do some plein air. Here I'm in an aspen grove on Divide Road. It's about 9,000 feet above sea level. And what I did is I took that painting, that scene, some reference photos, and just the other day, I completed this painting that's, let's see if I can get this camera back on here, right behind me. You can see it sitting up there. It's a little blurry because of the depth of field of the camera, but I just finished it. It's allowing it to dry on the easel before I go. But it was a challenging painting, but it was fun. Having the plein air study as well as the reference photos really helped me to create this vision that I had for this larger painting. And it's 36 by 36 inches. So it's a large painting. Took a few days to do, but it was challenging and fun at the same time. What else happened this year? I mean, that's about it, isn't it? We're quickly wrapping up what's going on. I think the biggest thing is I started selling paintings, even though I'm just an amateur. I thought that was fun, being able to do the 31-day challenge. Oh, by the way, I want to mention, speaking of selling paintings, about half of those paintings that I did with the 31-day challenge, they're just tiny 9 by 12s, just really rough sketches, but people have been buying those. Who would have thought? But anyway, I made some rustic farmhouse style frames for those, and people have been buying them. I've sold about half of them. I think that's about. Oh, there is one. There's one thing I did. I don't know. When I start to learn something, I just get right into it. Oh, by the way, there's Ralph in his studio. Those are some lovely paintings there. But you can check out my YouTube video. It's called Plein Air Painter with True Grit. And I talk a lot about my experience with Ralph Oberg while I was there. But I got a huge library of art books. A lot of these came from one of my sisters who gave me these books. So I have a huge stack of books, and I also bought quite a few from eBay. So that's been nice to build up that collection there. So I'm going to keep working at the podcast. I'm going to keep working at the YouTube channel, but most importantly, painting. I aim in 2019 to do more paintings than I've ever painted in a year. So this year was pretty good, but I need to do more, and I need to get better at it. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to focus on. And if I sell a few along the way, that's great too. But that's not at this point in time, that's not the most important thing. So let's get back here. I'm going to probably wrap this up. This is going to be a short live stream here, but I just wanted to try this new equipment, the new software that I'm using. You may notice that this looks differently. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here, in case you're curious. I'm using software. It's called Ecamm Live. This is incredible software. I was amazed at how easy it was to set up and to use. I'd used OBS, and I got frustrated with that. That's why I never did any live streams with that. It was just, I don't know, it was more complicated than I wanted to take the time to learn. But Ecamm Live, I tried a trial version of it, and in a matter of minutes, I was up and running. And the cool thing about this is I can use a special piece of software called Camera Live, and have my DSLR, which is a Canon 5D Mark II, ancient camera in itself, but it still has a beautiful image. And using a USB connection to that camera, I'm able to do this live stream. And here's the difference in quality. So this is me on the Canon 5D Mark II, and this is me on my webcam. Isn't that huge? Huge difference. This one looks really scary, but this one looks nice and warm and inviting. So that's pretty cool. If I do future live streams, what I can do is also have my iPhone or iPad set up and as another camera, and that way I can show, like if I do a book review or do a test of paints and that sort of thing, I can use a separate camera with this software. It's pretty cool. And also I'm able to moderate the comments. I've been able to see the comments coming in here and the likes, which I deeply appreciate. So I just want to give a shout out to you guys. Thank you for joining this show. I guess it's my first, it's not the first live stream I've done. I did one on an iPhone. It wasn't that great. It was a studio tour, but that was a long time ago. So I hope to do more of these. I've just got to figure out a good time to do it. If you have questions or you have comments or something that you would like for me to address, and in a future episode, a future live stream, let me know. And I'd kind of like, I don't know if picking the right time is, that's hard to do because you have people all over the world like Richard here in Australia. So I don't know when the best time to do this will be. Maybe when I'm just minty fresh, right? If I'm minty fresh, then you'll have better quality content. So anyway, thank you for watching this first edition or the last live stream of 2018 here on the Artful Camera. Go out there and create something amazing. I know you can do it. Ciao.